Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? My name's Alex Auction, and I'm the Artist Relations Manager for Orange Amplifiers. I've been in this role for about a decade. Ever since the beginning of social distancing, we have been doing a little thing called Artist Relations Corner with me, Alex, Artist Relations Manager for Orange. So, Artist Relations Corner is usually on Instagram. Let's try it on YouTube and Facebook. Why the fuck not? As a tradition, with Artist Relations Corner. Sorry, everything is the opposite of what it usually is since I'm usually doing this on our Instagram. As a tradition, I drink when I do this show. Also, as an excuse to drink during work hours. Today, we don't have a beer of the day, unfortunately. We have a rosé in a big cup. And that is how you do it. So today's episode of Artist Relations Corner with me, Alex Auction, Artist Relations Manager for Orange, is going to start over Artist Relations Corner. We're going to start from the beginning, from the first episode that I ever did of this on Instagram. We're going to kind of start over because you guys have not been following me probably on Instagram. So we're trying it on Facebook and YouTube. Today, a little bit of background on how artist relations work. I could also ask or answer questions. We can hear about your band. I don't care, whatever. Let me get through my little spiel here, and then we'll hit into the Q&A. Also, was thinking that maybe what we could do is at the end of this, we could go through a video, because obviously I've done a lot of the videos for Orange over the years, the more like humorous viral video stuff. And I'm thinking that we could maybe watch one of those together, and I can give you some background on how that came together. We got a bunch of those videos, the most recent one being with V-Man for the Bass Butler. But we're going to do the micro terror with the dog from way back in the day, the first video that I ever did for Orange. So, artist relations. Obviously, a lot of people ask this question all the time. What the hell is artist relations? Artist relations is a symbiotic relationship that exists between an endorser and their sponsor. In this case, Orange Amps is the sponsor. The artist is always the endorser, but it's a vice versa situation. We help out each other. There are things that we both have to offer one another. I'm looking for ways that an artist can benefit me. Artists are looking for ways that I can benefit them. So the ways that I benefit artists once they sign on to a relationship with Orange, they include four main things. They include special artist pricing, so getting things cheaper than they would usually be. It's a significant discount, and we sell a lot to artists. Then there is backline support, so loaner gear. So a big part of being endorsed by any company is their ability to make sure that you have the gear that you play wherever you are in the world. So you go to Australia, you fly in, you pick up gear, you take it with you on your tour, you drop it off at the end. It costs you just a little bit of money compared to what it would normally cost. And you get to sound the way that you want to sound, no matter where you are in the world. That's a huge part of endorsements. And when it comes to very expensive, very heavy amplifiers and speaker cabinets, we spend a lot of money to make sure that loaner gear is top-notch for artists whenever they are on tour and wherever they are in the world. So it's different than it would be with like a guitar company. Guitar companies can build you 2 custom guitars, ship them to you on the spot, wherever you are in the world, very low cost comparatively to shipping out a speaker cabinet, for instance. And then you can take that stuff with you, and you can take it with you on tour. You don't necessarily have to have it shipped in wherever you are in the world. So with amps, it's very important that our backline be as good as it can be. We invest a lot of money in it, and it's a very big deal for our artists because they don't want to ship their stuff anywhere either, right? So priority technical support, an email or a phone call to me, that's a very big thing for a lot of artists. And I do get a lot of emails from artists, their texts included, questions about things related to needing schematics, to getting an amp fixed in a pinch, and I will loan them something in the meantime while we fix that amp. But basically, it's the ability to get your shit fixed quick, efficiently, very cost effectively. That's the priority tech support aspect of an endorsement. The final aspect of an endorsement is actually all encompassing. It's the relationship. That's the part of the relationship that I benefit from the most. And for a lot of artists, it's the part that they benefit from the most. The thing that, and this is cross promotions and content sharing. So me constantly hounding artists for content, for them to do self-created content a lot of the time, because obviously that's cost effective. It's quick for them to do, and it doesn't have to be super high quality. Basically, artists are sending me videos all day long of them just playing in front of an orange jam, of them talking about their orange jam. They're sending me photos of them from the road. They're sending me links to videos that our stuff has been featured in. Perhaps it's their artists, their band's music videos, or they've been on Premiere Guitar. It's being proactive with getting me content that will work to your advantage as an artist, because our relationship will be stronger. I'll see more benefit to working with you. There's also, playing our gear on stage. That's a huge component here. And I do work with artists. Some of them even get free gear, and our artist is nowhere near that stage, or our gear is nowhere near that stage. But for a lot of artists that are willing and able and want to put our gear on stage, that's one of the most valuable things that you have to offer your endorser, or your sponsor, I mean. So what am I looking for in an artist? Actually, let's just recap real quick. The 4 things that most sponsorships mean when it comes to guitar related stuff. Special pricing, sometimes free gear, sometimes. Special pricing, sometimes free gear, backline support or loaner support, priority technical support, and cross-promotional content sharing. Those are the 4 big things that are going to happen in any sort of endorsement. How do I decide who gets endorsed? Well, first off, anybody can email the artist request form or the endorsement request form on our website. Anybody can do that. It's easy to find. It's 10 to 15 questions. You're going to want to submit, tell us a lot about what you can do for us, to be quite frank. You know what I mean? The more proactive you can be, the better for us. Because, who doesn't want a great vice versa relationship, a working relationship? So then the other way that you can get an endorsement is by finding somebody that knows us and getting a good recommendation from one of them. And that's not as easy to do, obviously. But the thing is, when you do find somebody that one of us knows, one of our artist relations team members knows, and you're able to get a good word from them, it just increases your chances. There's no question, because it shows that you've probably worked up to a certain point to maybe know those kinds of contacts. And therefore, I'm going to trust that you're further along and more developed and ready for a relationship. Because endorsements, definitely not for everyone. By the way, Jeff Moore, I will get to what you're asking in a second. That's a great question. What about cover bands? So basically, what you're gonna, I lost my train of thought. Hold on, let me drink some rosé. If you're just joining us, this is Artist Relations Corner with me, Alex, Artist Relations Manager for Orange. Been doing this for about a decade. I've been at Orange for 13 years. And I've also been doing Artist Relations Corner. God, everything's not mirrored. On our Instagram for the past 10 weeks. So hop on over there if you want to see this more. I can't blame you if you wouldn't want to. So back to endorsements. We're talking about how to get endorsed, what we look for in an endorser. So again, what I was saying is that you can sign up for an endorsement request on our website. There's a link on there. Or you can know somebody, 6 degrees of separation type shit. And in that situation, you're more likely to break through the noise and get in touch with one of our artist relations team to be considered. It doesn't have to be the CEO of Capitol Records. A lot of the time it's guitar techs. And by the way, guitar techs are people that I trust with my life in some situations. These are people that getting a good word from is a big deal to me. Some of the guitar techs we work with are responsible for getting us the most artists. For instance, Drew Foppy, star tech, one of my favorite guitar techs. Got Brian Diaz. We got a number of people, but Drew Foppy has gotten us on board, or has been, helped introduce us to Deftones, The Used, Fleetwood Mac. The list goes on. But I guess you see what I'm saying, right? So what we look for in an artist, touring. I honestly think touring is the number one now. It is not like the old days where I got sound scan reports and I would actually check to see how many people, or how many downloads of songs or how many purchases, physical purchases in retail. None of that. I don't check any of that shit anymore. A lot of it is pre-existing relations. Like I said, techs passing on, production managers passing on, tour managers passing on contacts. It's a lot of labels that work with multiple bands, and those labels have good relationships with me. They encourage their artists to come on board with us. That happens a lot as well. But touring is number one, because if you're not leaving your home country, then I'm probably not going to even bother looking at it. That's obviously different right now. Corona touring is not a thing, so that's different. But actually, you know what? That brings up a good point. How quickly my priority shifted to people that have things to offer me online when the touring went away. Because touring is very important. Those in-person, physical, eyes on amps, that's the best endorsement you can possibly have. That's why I always say, hashtag fuck scrims. You put scrims in front of your shit. Oh my God. So, touring, big deal. Even bands that don't have, it doesn't matter if you're on a label anymore. None of that matters. Okay. What matters now is quite simply, are there people seeing my stuff? Are you handling social media well? Social media, another big factor here. And right now, like I just said, the most important factor. I work out relationships. When I say free gear, remember when I said that one of the big parts of our endorsement is free gear and special pricing. Well, the free gear is not a big thing. A lot of people don't get that. But the people that do get it quite often these days are working out content-based agreements with me, so that I say, here's this, it's on loan. You do these things and you've got this piece of gear permanently, okay? And that's my favorite type of thing. That's a great thing to offer your sponsors. Give them a little package deal and say, for this, I want this. I'm very likely to do that. It's very easy to gauge the cost value. You know what I mean? So please do consider doing that more often. But then again, there are artists that get free stuff that just are that big. Hey, what are you gonna do? Jim Root, of course. Brent Hines, whatever, man. Just a single photo. Geddy Lee is a fantastic example of this. So the story of Geddy Lee, the way that we got Geddy Lee was actually through Jim Root's guitar tech, Martin. At the time, Martin was in Nashville. Slipknot was recording. And I think it was a Subliminal Verses or whatever the second to last record was. And Rush was in the studio next door to Slipknot recording Clockwork Angels. Now, Geddy heard a bass tone through the wall, and Geddy walked in and he said, "What is that?" And Martin, Jim Root's guitar tech, said, "That's the 8200. And Rush said, "Put me in touch with Orange." Now, all we ever did with Geddy Lee, like I'm friends with his tech, right? Scully's a great dude. Friends with him, never met Geddy Lee. Doesn't matter though. The reason it doesn't matter is because we got one picture of Geddy Lee sitting on an Orange amp. We didn't get to choose the picture. He simply sent us a picture and told us to pay $5,000 to his photographer, which we happily obliged. Although at the time, this is like a decade ago, it was a lot of money for us. And we were kind of upset about it. Well, 80% increase in base sales in one calendar year later, we don't give a shit, right? That's free gear worthy. Okay, you know what I mean? So basically, touring is important. Social media is important. I just want to be able to hang out with our artists. I want them to be open to considering things. I don't necessarily care if the relationship is directly with the artist. In fact, sometimes it's better to not be, because the artists don't historically introduce me to as many people. But, you know, it has to be back and forth. It has to be a give and take. We have to be friends, because if we're not friends, then, you know, we're not going to get shit done, quite simply. So that's a big deal. You know, there's no one particular thing that's more important these days when it comes to endorsements than any other thing. It's really just a matter of that relationship development. Gear on stage is great, but you know, how much content we can create together, how excited you are about creating content. These are important things for me. I don't care if you're on a label. I don't care if you've put out music in the last 10 years. I really don't. If you're still touring, it's great. And also, I just want to say things like this. That hot water music endorsement that I got 6 or 7 years ago, that was all free gear. I'll say that. That was free gear. That was one of the first times I ever got a whole band free gear. But for me and for the people that were at Orange at the time, it was like, these guys are the real deal. You know, hot water music is just, it's your favorite guitarist's favorite band. You know what I mean? So, and they didn't put any fucking scrims on stage. All right, I'm gonna check out some of these comments real quick. I think I got my little artist relations spiel out of the way, but once again, I'm trying Artist Relations Corner on YouTube and Facebook now. I've been doing it for 10 weeks on Instagram, and I am Alex Oksher, Artist Relations Manager for Orange. This picture is Eddie Money. It's signed by Eddie Money, and it says, "Alex, I would love to play your backyard barbecue." And I got that from Reno 911, that quote, because I don't remember which character asks who. I was going to say the mustached one, but that doesn't narrow it down. But one of the characters asked the other character, if you had $1 million, what would you do? And he says something to the extent of, I would have Eddie Money play my backyard barbecue. All right, let's check out some comments. What's up, Sean Pierce Johnson? That's a good man right there, Sean Pierce Johnson. If you don't follow him on Instagram and YouTube, please do, because he is a great reviewer. He's kind of coming up right now, and he's starting to really kick off. Artist relations. He says, artist relations, be loyal, be thankful, support, talk frequently, and don't be a dick. That's a great point. I should also mention this, everybody. If you're interested in more information about artist relations, not just Orange's artist relations, but really any artist relations, I've got this. I'm going to share this screen real quick. I wrote this thing. There we go. See this? I wrote this indefinite because it's not, you know, I probably need to update it. But at the time, it was the indefinite guide to Orange endorsements. And this thing, if you read through this, I think you'll have a good idea of whether or not you need an endorsement. If you think, or if you'll actually be able to benefit from one. A lot of people think they need an endorsement, when in fact, it would be of no value to them whatsoever. Okay. If you don't tour regularly, you can't take advantage of the back line. If you are relying on us to make you famous, that's not how it works. If you don't need to buy anything and want to get a reduced price, then, you know, what are we doing? Right? There's certain levels of bands that can benefit from an endorsement, and there's others that can't. By the way, this indefinite guide to endorsements, this thing right here, this is for any industry as far as I'm concerned. And once again, you see right here, don't use scrims. Don't give out my email to your brother's girlfriend's neo-rap electronic jam band without asking first. Don't walk into a music store, announce you are an Orange ambassador, and brag about the special pricing you're receiving. Anyways, you get it. So let's see. There we go. Going through the questions some more. Could you do some custom greens like Al Ciceros? No, we did custom green for Brent. I'm not sure if you're talking about green cabs or if you're talking about green amps. Zoo Panda. But I don't remember making anything for Al that was green. And if you're talking about green amps, that's not us. Will you ever bring out the OR50 or the OR100? Boy, we have talked about this a bunch of times. Almost certainly not, but there is talks of an amp that if you like those two, you would love. And we're talking about doing something soon. So keep that in mind. Is there a small amp I can use as a public speaker? Not really. The acoustic combo you could potentially use. I guess you could use any amp for that purpose. It might not really sound good though. The orange Gym Root number 4, great amp for home. It's a great amp all around. That's the Gym Root, which we discontinued, unfortunately, was basically just the Rock Reverb's preamp stage. That was what that amp was based on, but the Rock Reverb 100 specifically. I've had an orange tattoo since 2009. Endorsement. I'll tell you what, it will help your chances of getting an endorsement, Johnny. It'll help. What about cover bands? Too small? Okay, that was the question that I was going to answer. No, I'll endorse cover bands. Why not? Is your cover band playing in front of 500 people every other night? Great. Are you interested in buying some gear and want a discount? Fantastic. I'm assuming that this cover band probably not traveling internationally. There's only a handful of those that really do. But again, dedication, good content, make sure you got your social media game down. And there's not really any reason why. But okay, but here's a good point though. A cover band, what am I basing that on? Social media for sure, absolutely. Just dedication to the brand. Owning gear already in that case might not hurt. Because I'm not trying to make a sale with every endorsement. That's not the goal. It just so happens that new endorsements tend to coincide with new sales. But I'm not really doing that. Honestly, when it comes to a cover band, playing in front of a lot of people, that really would be a thing for me. A lot of touring. A lot of good cover bands, who am I to judge? I've seen some cover bands that blow away the real band. In fact, a lot of them do because they have their live game down so tight. That's how they became famous, I mean, cover bands aren't exactly putting out music. So you can't really rest on your laurels when you're a cover band when it comes to recordings. How do I get endorsed? How many likes do I have to have or followers? God damn it, Juan. We've been here for 20 minutes now. Come on, man. Morning, Alex. Good stuff, man. I actually was in a band Death Division, but left before that endorsement came through. I'm sorry to hear that, Jason. What's up, Josh McIntosh? Hell yeah, man. Orange endorser. Would Orange endorse a small UK-based musical project? It depends on everything that I just said. Would you guys take awesome care of my buddies and the Watchers, Beer Drinkers, and Hellraisers? Oh, looks like we take awesome care. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, man. Rest in peace, Alex's inbox. No, man, if my inbox isn't full after 10 weeks of doing this show on Instagram, I'm not worried about it. Also, alex@orangeamps.com. Honestly, don't care. Don't expect a lot of replies, but lead guitar player from Heart, whose name is absolutely skipping my mind right now. But yeah, Nancy. Heart has had Orange on stage for a long time. They do have, the bass player for Heart, whose name is, I'm forgetting. He plays Orange as well. But Heart was definitely, so every time I do an artist interview, I like to ask the artist question. I like to ask the artist, what was the first time they heard or saw an Orange amp? And Heart comes up pretty regularly. It's always Black Sabbath, Sleep, Heart sometimes. I'm a guitar player and nationally ranked para triathlete. Let's do an Orange team, Orange jerseys. That's actually awesome, Eric. I mean, I think that's pretty badass. Well, I just gave up my email. So, what about when American artists do world tours that only ever tour America and Canada? I mean, what an American thing to do, right? And sometimes people are asking, why am I not British? Sorry. I just happen to be in charge of Orange's artist relations. Worldwide. They let a guy without an accent do that. Of course, they don't have it. I don't have an accent to them. Anyways. Okay, let's see. Thanks for your good word, Sean Pierce Johnson. And you don't know if we're going to get the little bass thing? You better give me that shit back. I don't know what Michael Chapman was saying Godsmack is the perfect example of, but I don't really cite them as being the perfect example of much. Yeah, so Jeff Moore, you're talking about cover bands. Of course, discounted prices is a big part of our endorsement, and that would be a very good thing to take advantage of. Is this exactly discounted prices? I want a very clean sound. Do I need to buy an 8030 or the Trim Lord? Trim Lord is a far cleaner sound. It's sparkly. It's more like a Fender Deluxe. It's completely different than the 8030. The 8030 is our flagship British amp, right? It's very creamy. The cleans on it, while there are two different kinds of cleans on it because it has two completely separate channels with different signal paths, the cleans never get sparkly. They get creamy and they get a little brighter. So Trim Lord would be the one to do. And the Trim Lord, by the way, guys, oh my God, buy more Trim Lords. Have you guys seriously not heard the Trim Lord? Have you not heard our version of an American style clean amp? Come on, it's amazing. It really is. Adrian knocked it out of the park. Oasis is the first thing that Ted thinks of when he thinks of Orange, and I totally understand. Adrian designed that amp. God, what was he playing? The graphic, the R120. So sorry, you guys. It's still early here. Hold on, let me drink more rosé. Anyways, Artist Relations Corner with me, Alex Oxher, Artist Relations Manager for Orange. Trying it on YouTube and Facebook this time. What's happening, Dave from On Off? Great band. Irish band living in LA now. Oh, shit. You are Irish, right? You're not Scottish. Oh my God. Please don't get mad at me, Irish and Scottish people. I know you're not even close to the same thing. Sometimes I get the accent mixed up. Although I am fantastic at figuring out where people within Greater England are from now. I figured out the north, south, east, west. Do we endorse Hayley Williams? It was Paramore's two guitar players before they quit. That's who we were working with in Paramore at the time. I met Hayley. She is super duper nice. Like, feel bad for drinking in front of her nice. Dean thinks of Free and Paul Kossoff. Good call when he thinks about Orange. Cover band turning major artist. That's a cool. That's what movies are made out of. That's wasn't Huey Lewis and his band, weren't they like a bar band before they became famous? First I saw Orange was Omar at the drive-in. Hey, me too, man. Bonnaroo, 2004 at the drive-in. Late night show. I was good to go. And it was blistering, his tone. This is the first time I saw the 8140 stacks that had the face plates rubbed off and all the Tolex taken off. And that's a fun story because basically what that was the guy who did my job before me, who was the artist relations guy, just for the USA though. He wouldn't take the phone call from Omar. So Omar sent his guitar tech, a lovely man who is named Henry. He sent him into a warehouse across the street from the venue they were going to play in, I believe it was Mexico City in the dead of summer, and had him scrape down the faceplates sand them down, and then strip the Tolex off of everything. That's why Omar's stuff never had Tolex on it. So the first thing that I did when I got Omar back to Orange, when I took over artist relations, was I called them up and made sure that we got Tolex on their stuff and had a working relationship, because Omar is obviously a very important artist for our generation. And he never should have been ignored in the first place. Stupid. I do get Facebook stalked about endorsements, Nico. I have a friends list, unconfirmed friends list that is well into the thousands now. That is not a bragging point. I'll say that. Tremlord is wicked. I'm glad that you like the Tremlord. I'm a bass player in Australia. This is Dean. Any high wattage amps that Orange does? Yes, we do. We do the 80. Well, how high wattage is the question? Because we do the 8200 Mark III, which is the only all-tube bass amp that we make. It's the big boy UK build one. And then we've got the Terror Bass, which is a 500 watt amp. I honestly think that the best combination of bass that we have right now is the bass butler into the little bass thing. I just think that you can get about every tone that you could possibly want out of it. And the bass butler is an impressive piece of kit. Do I know what's coming for NAMM 2021? I do. And I'm a very wear my emotions on my sleeve, or wear my heart on my sleeve, whatever the hell it is. And I can say this with absolute honesty. I was not excited in the past about certain NAMMs and the products that we were launching. And this coming NAMM, I am stoked. I feel like it's back, baby. First time I saw an Orange was a single channel 8030 sitting in Atlanta Discount Music. Hey, my first Orange was from a gentleman named, oh shit. Yeah, you guys know the band Roswell Kid? The bass player, Devin. Anyways, this dude named Devin, who's the bass player in a band called Roswell Kid, which if you like power pop, you need to check that shit out for sure. But Devin went to school with me when we were growing up, and I lost track of him. And then in college, I saw an 80-30 combo that he was playing with in his first band, or in his first college band. That was my first Orange. I'm serious, y'all. Roswell Kid, please check that shit out. I need to modify my 412 Marshall. Sorry, don't apologize. It's okay. I have a lot of artists that play Marshall cabs with orange heads. I find nothing wrong with that. I think they like what it does for the sound. Obviously, orange cabs, very, very well built, very thick, focused, laser focused sound. However, some people's ears hear that as muffled. So they like to take their orange amp, run it through a Marshall, which I totally understand. It opens it up a little bit, lets it breathe a bit. I mean, I hate those people, but how do you see, I don't hate them, I'm sorry. How do you see the future of amplification even when pedal boards offering silicon modeling for plug-in directly on PA systems? How do I see the future of amplification? That's the base of that question. And how do I see it? Dying breed, and to an extent. Tube amps are like oil. I mean, someday they'll be gone. You know, use up all the resources necessary to create a real tube amp. But you know, we can modify our practices a bit to accommodate that. We can begin to slowly but surely learn how to recreate the sounds that we love with new, not software, but new types of hardware. Obviously, analog solid state is the way that we've chosen to go there right now, like with the Crush Pro series, but we did it better than anybody's done it in 30 years. The Crush Pro 120 is the best, is one of the top 5 amps that we make right now, in my opinion, for a live touring band to use. It's a third of the price of a rock reverb. But guys, if you haven't checked out the Crush Pro series, please do that. I just think that eventually music's going to be a bunch of dudes standing on, or not dudes, you get it, dudes, dudettes there's going to be people standing on stage. They're going to have little sticks, and they're going to think really hard towards those sticks. And that's going to create some sort of music. Basically, there's like a Futurama episode that pretty much sums up what I kind of thought the music industry was going to go towards, or the live music instrument industry. That's not a pessimistic viewpoint, by the way. I don't want you to think that I'm saying, that amps are going away forever. Obviously, digital modeling, that is going to be a way bigger thing in the future. I just think that you're way cooler if you have real amps. Every Tuesday I do this show with Fluff. This exact show, Artist Relations Corner, with me, Alex, Artist Relations Manager for Orange. I do the show with Fluff, and Fluff is all digital now. I mean, for the most part, he runs an amp for a power amp. That's really all he's doing. And I love Fluff. I think it's stupid, though, to be all digital on stage like that. I'll challenge you, Fluff. Come on here. Come on here and let's argue about it. The Orange Rocket 32 is cleaner than the 8030. Yes, it is. The Rocket 32 is very clean. The Rocket 32 is clean in a similar way to the Tremlord. They are our two cleanest amps by far. When it comes to amplification, I think your OB1 was a work of pure genius, especially for us who like it very dirty and clear at the same time. Now, if that one would fit in my pocket, that would be some future. I'm assuming you were going to finish that with future ass shit. Well, Daniel, I have great news for you, because that is literally the Bass Butler. Go check out the Bass Butler, and I think that you'll find it's extremely similar to the OB1 in a lot of ways. I mean, you can definitely get the same tones, and plus more. A load box would allow some home studio guys to use a real amp without the volume that disturbs the neighborhood. 100%. I mean, load boxes are great. I'm talking about live. When I go to a concert, I can hear if you're using digital. There's no presence to it. You can hear it. And that's sad for me. A lot of the time, I'll go backstage and just drink your beer. It's really why I'm there. I'm drinking beer. Can I a better sign at the corner? No, you can't give me a better sign, William. I'm sorry. This is my sign. I had to make a new one today. Then I had to remake it because I forgot that this version of Livestream was not going to be mirrored like Instagram. So one more time, Artist Relations Corner with me, Alex Oxher, Artist Relations Manager. Now, I was going to try something real quick before we get out of here. I'm going to try to share screen so that you can see this video. And I'm going to talk you through and give a little bit of commentary on one of the first videos that I ever did for Orange Amps. It features a dog, and it's got a microterror. Thank you, Nathan Bergman, formerly of Lion Eyes, now about to be one of the hottest solo acts of 2021. Appreciate your sign language. Language backing me up on the sign. All right. Now, this might not work perfectly. In fact, it might not work at all, because look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this video with the microterror and the dog, featuring Troy Sanders of Mastodon, might I add. And then I'm going to give you some commentary on it and talk you through it. So basically, this is the first video I did with Orange. I'll say that again. And we shot this in Atlanta. Troy Sanders, this was actually partially his idea. He had kind of an epiphany about this idea, and he wanted to shoot a video. And I've never really had that much of a working relationship with Troy, other than the two videos that we've done together. One of which was completely his idea, and I'll share that one at a later date. But this is Orange Amp Saved the Day, featuring Troy Sanders of Mastodon. Let me know if you guys can hear that too.
Nice riff, man.
Thanks, man. It's one of my better ones.
Sounds killer.
Probably one of the best riffs I ever had.
All right, so the dude sitting down on the left of the couch, that's Darren, who is Troy's brother. He's also the stage manager and tech for Mastodon. And then the guy standing up in the corner on the left, he was the writer. He wrote this video. This video was mainly my idea, but Troy and I kind of flushed it out together.
Have you seen me lately? I've been in magazines.
Yeah, I've been reading them, man. Hey, who's that dude?
He's a random lurker.
I'm your manager. We've met like 1,000 times.
Let me get rid of this jackass.
I was at your son's bris.
Hey, man.
I have no idea who the dude on the right there is. Can't remember.
Who's that dude?
I performed the bris.
Also, your amps are broken.
All 6 of them?
All 6.
Dag. Somebody get me any jackass from Orange on the phone.
Now, we call ourselves jagasses here, and I think it's important to note that a big theme of all of the Orange videos we've ever done has been self-demeaning, like breaking ourselves down and making fun of ourselves. It's one of my favorite things that we get to do here at Orange, and I'm glad they let me do it. Also, we had a lot of question marks about whether or not we should say that all of the amps broke, because that's not exactly a great look for us, but we didn't say they're Orange amps, so. This is one of my proudest moments on film. In the original version of this video, this part was like a full minute long, and I actually broke this forklift doing this, by the way. That's me without a beard. I look like a real asshole without a beard.
Orange amps. What's that? There's an emergency at the loft? Oh. Wait, all 6? All 6. Okay, no problem. I'll have my best man on it in a jiffy.
This dog right here handled all of the filming of this like a fucking pro. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. This dog's name is Bear. Unfortunately, Bear left us last year, but is one of my best friend's dogs. We took all the guts out of the amp, and then in the running scenes, there's a bunch of white stuff all over the. There's white foam on it, just because a lot of questions regarding whether or not this dog was in pain running with this amp. Is not. This is running through Atlanta.
Oh yeah, rock and roll. I am awesome.
All right. Now this is very important because what you just saw with Troy standing in front of this mirror and collecting himself and getting stoked for playing in front of a concert, that was Troy's idea, and it's based on somebody in a band, a very big metal band, who he saw doing this before a concert. Mastodon was walking to go to stage, and they passed by the dressing room, and somebody in one of the big four was doing this. I shouldn't say exactly who, but I'll leave it to your imagination. It may not be who you'd expect, but that was exactly what they're doing. In their underwear, getting stoked to play.
Awesome. Keep going. I believe in you. Everybody believes in you. Oh man, I love your haircut.
That's Criminal Records in Atlanta. Yup. You're going to notice right there that we plugged that into the phone's jack. And unfortunately, well, none of us noticed that until we had published the video. It kind of just works, though, because the whole video is so fucking ridiculous anyways. Here we go. And that is a little bit of background about the first video that we ever did for Orange in terms of like viral, funny content. There's 10 of these, so I guess we could do this maybe one a week. Good call. Charlie Cooper, marketing director for Orange, is in the comments section and has given everybody the link to the micro tear. So make sure you guys go check it out. I'm super happy. What's up, Andy? Andy Guitar Geek. Going to be doing something with Andy next Monday, an interview. So that's it for Artist Relations Corner today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. My name is Alex Oxer. I'm Artist Relations Manager for Orange. Joining me next week. We'll be back on here doing a YouTube, Facebook stream. What's up, Russell Blair, by the way, in the comments. Just real quick, Russell Blair, original graphic designer for Orange. So I'll see you guys next Wednesday, I suppose. Same time, same place. We'll do another video, commentary like that, and do some more Q&A. I love you. I love you. Sleep tight, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night.